This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Okay, so this video is actually about a relatively new product, and I think it's exciting for a few reasons. Now, I got an email from IK Multimedia asking if I would demo ToneX, which is essentially, this is the first time that I think capturing and profiling, we know these terms from things like the Kemper and the Quad Cortex, but this time it's kind of decoupled from hardware and you're now doing it with your computer. And that's interesting to me for a few reasons, because first of all, the cost of entry into the Kemperverse or into the Neuralverse is way above £1,000, sort of 1,600-ish pounds. Whereas now, if you've got a reamp box, you don't even really have to buy any hardware for this to work. It's also interesting in terms of being able to run captures on and in your DAW. That's interesting too. So they have sponsored this video, so thanks for that. But there's one specific thing about it which I found incredibly interesting, and I think this is the coolest amp that's been profiled or captured probably in the world. This is an ODS 50 from Dumble that was owned by Joe Bonamassa. You can see it in the Premier Guitar rig rundown. He actually sold this amp, and presumably either IK Multimedia bought it or someone else bought it, and they bought it off of him because they've now taken ownership of that amp. And I think this amp was a little bit of a prototype. It's from 1984. The guy who sold it to Joe Bonamassa got threatened by Alexander Dumble that if he sold it, he would be sued. I don't know if he did get sued, but I think that might have been because there was something sort of unique about this amp. I'm not sure what that would be. Joe Bonamassa did gig it with another Dumble and two Fender twins, Fender Tweed twins, that is. But anyway, super interesting. And when I plugged it in, I was like, okay, well, that's probably the best Dumble tones I've heard out of a plugin. So that's why I was like, well, I'm very excited to do a video about this actually. Let's jump in. So when you first pull up ToneX, the sort of thing that happens is this. And you'll have this Black Angus pulled up. So if we just play. So in terms of what you actually get in the plugin, we've got this kind of post stuff. We've got a noise gate, which can be turned on or off. And then we've got compressor, which can be put pre or post. We've got reverb, which I actually really like the plate sound on this. But these things are kind of outside of the actual ToneX model. And then you can choose different kind of tone models. And what's cool about this, so if you look over on the right hand side, we've got tone model collections. I guess this is the thing that's going to grow over time. But the thing that jumped out to me first of all, so you've got British Juice 2, Cali 65, you know, the sorts of things that you normally see. And then the Overdrive Special number 80, a rare and unique combo from IK's private vault. So I did a little bit of digging, and this is indeed the Overdrive Special that belonged to Joe Bonamassa. So then if you look down on this side here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 17 kind of captures or profiles, however you want to call it, of the Dumble Overdrive Special 50, which is typically what you might find in like a Kemper pack or something like that. You might get about this many profiles, and pretty cool, I think. And this is included in ToneX Max, which costs, I think, at about $250 at the moment. There's a bunch of other stuff included in it. The Max must have almost everything, right? But anyway, enough talking. Here's what it sounds like. And as I was saying, we've got things like room reverb here. So without and with. So they sound really good. Things you can do, I'm going to do another video at some other stage on how to create these things. You can choose the skin, but clearly, this is an ODS type thing. You've got gain, bass, middle, treble, and volume. These things you could change per capture. So it's nothing, it doesn't go crazy in terms of gain like the Kemper did. So let's try the bright boosted ODS. Bright deep jazz, so I need to set that back to normal. So it should now be a clean. We've also got like a spring here in terms of reverb. So spring 2, 3. Clean boosted ODS. Plate as well. Clean ODS rock. So for me, I'm really impressed by those tones. I don't recall anything else that is that easy to get these kinds of classic Dumble tones, to be honest. Obviously you've got other kind of normal-ish things, you know, like AC30 stuff. And you got things like the Soldano Slow, if you wanted something like that. For me, the overdrive special alone was the thing that jumped out to me as being most interesting about it, and I think this is something that I might use quite a bit. So who said plugins can't be sexy? In a way, I think for me that's some of the best Dumble tones that I've heard, full stop. It makes sense given that this ToneX stuff is kind of, I think, probably one of the more accurate ways to capture tones with this machine modeling type stuff. If it's based on a real life Dumble, I think there's a few Kemper profiles out there that might be of a real Dumble, but not many, and so it's really cool to have this here. It'd be really interesting to see if they continue to bring out more of specifically this amp, for me, to be honest with you, and maybe even if they bring over to Amplitude a full component modeled version of it. I think that'd be really cool to see as well. But I was thoroughly enjoying actually playing that as a tone. I think there's probably a way to trial this for free as well, if you are interested in those sorts of tones as I am. So in future, I'm gonna be sure to check out building my own ToneX kind of capture and do a couple of things with that. If you've got any ideas for that kind of video, any questions, let me know in the comments. For me, I'm really excited specifically about that one thing which is within that plugin, the ODS, the number 80 from 1984 that belonged to Joe Bonamassa for a bit, was toured by him. A really interesting amp, and I think plugged in straight away and sounded really cool to me. There's not, that I'm specifically aware of, any other plugin that models a specific Dumble in this way. You know, this is one amp. It's not built from a schematic or anything. They're just profiling this actual Dumble. I don't think there's too much of that about. It's really interesting as well to see this capture technology kind of taken away from the hardware and put into just the software that most of us could afford if we want to do this. I think that's an interesting thing. Interesting to see how this grows, and out of the box I think sounds really good. So that's 14 thumbs up for me. Thank you to IK Multimedia for asking me to check this out, and if you want me to check out more with it and build some more tones, let me know. I think it also integrates really nicely with Amplitude 5. if you've checked that out, but I just wanted to look at specifically that one aspect of it because I think that's the most exciting thing about it to me. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.